Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. My bad. That was on my end.
Yep. Absolutely. Walks in, fires a shot, save, rebound, they score.
Okay. I'm gonna back it off a little bit because I have a tendency in live games I stop, so I backed it off just a little bit more. But if I peak again, just let me know. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Yep. Bye. Everything good. home of the Fresh Coast Freeze, home today's USPHL action between the Fresh Coast Freeze and the MetroJets. One thing you all for attendance tonight today is Age-Out night for the Fresh Coast Freeze. An opportunity for us to thank all the players aging out playing the final home games here at Chris High Southwest. Just a huge opportunity to say thank you. So let's get started. First, number 2, Brendan Harris and his family. In his second year with the Fresh Coast Freeze. Brendan came to us last year at the end of the year. It's been a big part of our back end this year. His leaps and bounds have really helped our team grow. Fun fact about Brendan's dad: I used to graduate with my dad. I school with my mom. Next up, Patrick Waterman. Patrick Waterman in his second year with the team, second year serving as our captain, and he's been integral for the growth of the Fresh Coast Freeze. His leadership really shone through this year after he was injured for a good part of the middle part of the season, but he showed up every day just to be that leader in the locker room. As we thank Patrick Waterman. Next up, number 5, Jake Mando. Mando's in his first year. Mando's in his first year with the Fresh Coast Freeze, and goes about halfway through the year. As his infectious smile is one thing that I'll always remember about Mando. He's got a heck of a shot, and he's been an integral part of this year, just his intensity and ability on the back end to be huge for the Fresh Coast Freeze. Jake Mando. Next up, number 9, Ryan Mitchell. I take that back. Ryan Mitchell. My mistake. Mitch came to us about halfway through last year. He's been a big part of our leadership team, wearing the assistant captain's pay with us this year. Mitch from Colorado, big traveling opportunity here to come to Michigan and be able to play with us the second year. It's one of the things about junior hockey that's great. You get players from all over the country that get to come enjoy what I think is one of the more beautiful places, West Michigan. Thank you, Ryan Mitchell. Next up, number 20, Hayden Blake. Blake's in his first year with the Fresh Coast Freeze. He started this year with the Freeze, scored some big goals for this game. Another mistake that they had in the line yesterday was probably weeks with shoulder injury, but once again, much like that, he was here the entirety of the time using his leadership roles despite not being able to play. Next up, number 21, Sean Stevens. Sean is in his second year with the Fresh Coast Freeze, came to us towards the end of last year, and he's been pretty fun to get to know on analytical levels last year. He's kind of a quiet guy, but when you do get to hear him talk, he's actually kind of funny, got a wicked sense of humor about him. It's 21, Sean Stevens. Last but not least, wearing number 24, Noah Partridge. Noah is in his second year with the Fresh Coast Freeze. Noah takes 2 threes last year, about halfway through. He was an integral part of a couple of big wins last year, kind of helped the Fresh Coast Freeze the second half of the year get on track, be able to build heading into this year. He's also been a huge part of this season. Another player that doesn't talk much, but has a wicked sense of humor about him when you do get him to open up. Once again, guys, personally for me, and I speak for the rest of the organization, thank you guys so much for all you've done in the last year, 2 years. You guys have been so much fun to get to know. So much fun to get to watch playing this girl, not only human beings and hockey players, but just growing down there. Thank you guys so much. Families and friends, thank you for allowing your young men to come play for us, come be a part of us, have trust in our organization that we are the right thing for your young players, the young men growing forward. Thank you guys so much.
That's great. I wanted to give you Sean and commemorate your time here. Hopefully you'll have close memories of your time here, and I'm really sure after taking ideas, and keeping an air mattress, covered with blow up with the I wish you the best of luck on your future endeavors, wherever that takes you.
We're also going to have our Red Scouts take a picture with Chris Helder and Michaela Conrad. They are a huge part of making our day-to-day operation work and run the clock. So jerseys, anything on the back end, they're an integral part to everything we do. So we want to make sure that we show our appreciation for them as well. Those free time. There's a silent auction up in the front for any game worn jerseys as well, and at the front table near the main entrance, there's some merchandise and apparel as well.
Thank you for joining us live from Griffsize House West, home of the Fresh Coast Freeze, home of today's USPHL premier action between the Fresh Coast Freeze and the MetroJets. I'm Aaron Poling. Thank you so much for joining us as we get set for today's matchup between the MetroJets and the Fresh Coast Freeze. Let's go ahead and go over the situations that can happen in today's game. First of all, we got to start with yesterday. The Fresh Coast Freeze were able to get 1 point out of an overtime loss against the MetroJets development program. That, matched with the MetroJets beating the Cincinnati Cyclones yesterday, has officially clinched the Fresh Coast Freeze first ever appearance in the USPHL playoffs. Congratulations to the players and the organization as they get ready to play, as after today, they will get ready to play at Red River in Red River for the Freeze. They still have the MetroJets standing in front of them, and not just a MetroJets team standing in front of them, a MetroJets team still with a ton to play for as Metro comes into today's action 2 points behind the Toledo Cherokee, so they'll need a win and a Cherokee loss in order to jump up and take that 1 seed. Red River is locked into the 3 spot, Columbus in the 4 spot, Battle Creek in the 5 spot, Fresh Coast in the 6 spot. And that is how the playoff matchup shakes up for this season, as we have one more game before that. For the Freeze, though, what better way to get ready for the playoffs than to play the team that has won a bunch of titles back to back in the playoffs. Get ready for the playoffs by playing Metro. That is a huge advantage compared to where the Freeze could have been in the weekend, needing a point to be able to clinch or 2 Bearcat Hockey Club wins. So it's never an advantage to play Metro. I'm not going to say that. It's an advantage, I think, for the Freeze to get a crack at Metro before the playoffs, as the intensity should be very high as today's game goes along. Metro needs the 2 points. The Freeze, they need to start preparing for the playoffs, as they're going to they have 11 wins, 27 losses, and 3 overtime losses. Those 3 overtime losses are the difference for the Freeze this year. We're going to go radio silent for starters. Again, today is Age Out night. We've done our Age Out festivities, and we're able to thank all of the players aging out. I'd like to thank them on the broadcast as well. We'll talk a little bit more about them as the game goes along. But until then, we're going to go radio silent as we're going to do starting lineups here at Griffsize House West. We'll be right back with the start of Puck Drop momentarily.
Fresh Coast Freeze and the MetroJets. Let's go and start the next sport. Today's contest first for the MetroJets starting at left wing. Out of Detroit, Michigan, number 3, AJ Scott. Starting in the middle out of Detroit, Michigan, in Chicago. Starting on the right side of Chesterfield, Michigan, wearing number 51, Ryan. On the back end, left side, 21, Quebec City, Quebec, Canada, Edmonton, California. Starting on the right side, number 41, Michigan, wearing number 4, Jake Blum. And if you could let us go, there's no chance out of Carmel, Indiana, wearing number 90, Evan Peacock. Now, starting at your West Coast Freeze! Starting on the left wing, out there, stand around the front floor. Go, Patrick! Starting in the middle, wearing the floor on the bench, Michigan, Patrick! Starting on the right side, Michigan, wearing the floor, Sean Steven! Starting on the left bench, wearing number 2, out of Fremont, Michigan, Cody Fannis! Starting on the left bench, wearing number 9, out of Park, Colorado, Ryan Mitchell! And if you'd like to West Coast Freeze out of Waterford, Michigan, wearing number 30, Jacob Van Sweden! Ladies and gentlemen, if able, please rise to pass the playing of our national anthem.
And you sing. Was
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome inside Griff's Ice House West, home of the Fresh Coast Freeze, home of today's USPHL Premier action between the Fresh Coast Freeze and the MetroJets. We talked about during pregame about the possibilities, what could happen for the Freeze. Standings-wise, this game doesn't mean anything. Preparation-wise, getting ready for what would be a matchup with the Red River Spartans. This is a great way to see the intensity ramp up of the game heading into the playoffs, as Metro will be a great challenge for this Fresh Coast Freeze squad that was able to earn an overtime point against the development program yesterday. That point, paired with the MetroJets beating the Cincinnati Cyclones, clinched the Fresh Coast Freeze, making the playoffs. As we are underway, face off to Klimbowski as he moves it down the right wing. Jacob Van Sweden in net for the Fresh Coast Freeze. Makes a first stop. Shot goes just over the net. Rebound for a backhand shot. Shaved by Van Sweden. 10 seconds in, and Van Sweden makes a great stop with the pad as the Jets are buzzing early. 19:47 to go in the first period. Van Sweden kicks that right pad out as he robs Sharon on the backhand. We're going to face off deep in the free zone. Back to the point. Here's Blum. Wheels it down low. Collected behind the net. Glombowski lets it go. Stevens first to it for the Freeze. Played on for Partridge as he'll bounce this off the wall down the ice. Icing indicated and called with 19:30 to go in the first period. Face off deep in the Fresh Coast zone. Draw one for the Jets, back to the point. Working it towards goal. Shot save made by Van Sweden. The rebound in the corner as Mitchell throws a hit behind the net. As Ryan Mitchell playing in his last game at Griff's Ice House West with the Fresh Coast Freezes on net as Peacock will hold on. Good hustle there by Stevens as he raced bunk up the ice to force that face-off with 19:15 to go in the opening period. Of course, for the Jets, we talked about the Fresh Coast side of things. For the Jets, they need to collect 2 points in this contest and get a regulation loss from the Cherokee in order to clinch that #1 spot. Mandeville is able to bat it away. Stays in the zone, dumped in down low. A.J. Sherman steps into his man. Far side, Bunk collects. Broken stick, that allows the Jets to collect 5-on-4 for a second. Freeze are able to get that fifth player back into the frame. As here's Fleming. Wraps it around to the far side. Puck work near side. Collected by Jackson Stone. Reese Puffer High School graduate. Stone moves it ahead. Here's Outman. Pirouettes at the line with a nice take. Cuts back. Trying to feather it across. That's kicked away by Eshelman. Jets first to it as they bat it out of the air. A.J. Sherman lays the body there. As that's one thing that's going to be important for the Freeze going forward this year. Physicality. When they play at their best, they are really taking a part in the physical game. Turned over, opportunity shot, save made as it's Lippert. Emerson Lippert, whenever he sees that MetroJets logo, has a crazy game usually. He's the only player on the Freeze active roster that has scored a goal against the MetroJets. Back to the line, here's Taylor. He scores a lot of goals. That shot save made by Van Sweden as Taylor, once again, an all-star in the USPHL this year as he's a terrific player. Here's Lippert. Wheels it around near side. First to it, that's Carson Riley. Played in his first game yesterday with the Freeze. Charlie Huntoon up the near side. Here's a shot save made by Peacock. Rebound chopped away as Riley steps in to his man, takes the puck back. Here's Lippert. Wheeled behind the net. To the near side, Caden Hill keeps it alive, dumps it off down low. Taken over there by Daniel Luska. Wheeling, Illinois native, was also a USPHL All-Star this year. Played on net. Van Sweden will hold on to that with 17:22 to go in the second period. Face-off stays in the Fresh Coast zone. We'll come to the left of Van Sweden. Draw one, Riley skates it away. Here's Huntoon as Riley can't stretch his skate enough to stay on side to be whistled down at the line. We talked about yesterday's game for the Fresh Coast Freeze. Cameron Schaefer opened the scoring for the development program, followed in the first period by Emerson Lippert, tying the game at 1. Brendan Hannes and Carson Riley collecting a point in his first game with the Fresh Coast Freeze. William Smith scored on the power play, makes it 2-1. Freeze would answer back with Hayden Blick. Welcome back to the lineup. Scores from Stevens and Mandeville. Hill's pass goes awry as icing is waved off. Whistle blew as they're going to go back to center ice. They immediately reverse that. Charlie Huntoon scored in the third period to make it a 3-2 game. Carson Riley had 2 assists. And gets his second assist with the Freeze. Emerson Lippert has a goal and an assist in the game as well. Gianluca Varelli tied the game at 3 in the third period. The game would go to a shootout where the Jets would win. As that is how the Freeze were able to collect that point a third period goal from Huntoon and good defense to keep it a 3-3 game the rest of the way. It's kind of how the Freeze have to win going forward. If they want to make a run in the playoffs, it's going to have to be the defense and the net minding. I'm going to imagine it will be Matthew Brinkman starting game one for the Fresh Coast Freeze. Icing waved off. Mandeville first to it. Turned over. Puck swiped away by Sherman onto the stick of Mandeville as he pivots course as he'll pirouette in the corner. Finds some space. He'll collect behind his own net. A second wave of Jets. Forecheckers force a turnover. Sherman steps out in front of the net to clear it away to the point. Doesn't get out. Mandeville behind the net. Pushes it ahead for Moses. Cooper Moses on the second chance, able to bank it off the boards. Into the Jets zone. Here's Bunk. Hounded by Cook. Nice play ahead. As this is Sharon, throws on the brakes to an open wing. Play would have been offsides if Glombowski touched as he lets it go. Dump back in. Here's Jake Seski. First to the puck as he'll wind it to the far side corner for Mandeville. Turned over. Sharon to the front of the net. Puck goes wide of the cage. Turned over. Sharon turns. Fire. Shot goes just wide on the blocker side. A couple of 21s race after it. One by Fournier as he plays it down low. Flex out to the middle of the ice. Partridge quickly ahead to Stevens. On the far side, Stevens tried to center. It's off a skate to Peacock as he'll hold on with Partridge. Crashing the goal. 15:24 to go in the first period. Face off deep in the Metro zone. Administrative delay as they kick Stone out of the draw. Face off won by the Freeze. Partridge rips off the goalpost. Noah Partridge off the draw, ripped one through just off the outside of the cage. Seski shot blocked. Blick leaps for it. That's over his head, collected by the Jets. Here comes Zakogny. Through the neutral zone, Zakogny still with the puck on his stick. Makes a move, just lost as he's trying to get around the last defender. Puck wheeled around behind the net. Seski. He'll dust it off, finds Stevens. Quickly ahead. Luska stepped on the line, was able to make a nice play from his knees, though. Good poise there from Daniel Luska as he went down, able to make the play in his own zone. Has to be a terrible feeling for a defenseman in your own end when the tires blow and you have to make a play. That pass goes away into the corner. Stone collects for the Jets in his own end. Off the wall to Zakogny as he'll race through the neutral zone. Cuts out in front, still with the puck. Drops it off. They come near side for Taylor. Shot through the middle of the ice. That's blocked out in front. Kelly trying to clear, unable to do so. Chopped out in front. Zakogny turns, fire. Save made by Van Sweden. The rebound. Save again by Van Sweden. The whistle blows. The reason for the play being stopped. I think that shot after the whistle hit the crossbar anyways, but the Freeze catch a break as the puck was loose. The official lost sight of it. Therefore, the play is blown dead. Couple of great saves by Van Sweden again as he's been under fire early on in this contest. Jets win the draw. Taken there by Kelly. Quickly had 2-on-1 for the Freeze. Trying to find Beckwith. Good play defensively by Jake Taylor. To the line. Steele tried to break through. It's knocked down. Ashelman pinches at the line. Keeps it in. Beckwith trying to find Kelly on the deflection. That goes just wide. Players go into the cage. Comes off its moorings. Whistle blows. 13:53 to go in the first period. We'll get a face-off coming to the left of Evan Peacock. Face-off won by the Freeze. Shot save. And collects his 7th goal of the year, giving him 24 points on the season. Emerson Lippert won the faceoff. I believe that was Carson Riley with the shot. should go Huntoon from Lippert and Riley as Riley collects his 3rd points with the freeze. Evangelista dumps it in. Here's Mandeville. Chopped ahead, Lippert to it. He'll dump it in. Lippert with it, steps on the puck, is able to slow it down, allowing the Freeze to get the rest of their forecheck in. Lippert back to his feet. Jets able to clear it out. Evangelista gets his head up as Sherman was stepping towards him. A couple of 8s come together on that play. Chopped out to center ice. Skips by Bunk. But a good defensive play by Fleming to collect. Goes forward, diving effort from Evangelista. Sends Pivich on his way near side. Pivich spins back, looking for his 30th of the year. Cross-ice pass shot, save made by Van Zweden as he stops Bunk from the point. 13 minutes even to go in the first period. A 1-0 score. 13 minutes even to go. That goal by Charlie Huntoon, first Fresh Coast Freeze player not named Emerson Lippert, with a goal against the Metro Jets. Right now, it's Huntoon's goal from only Riley. Shot just deflected over the crossbar. Rebound cleared away. Kicked out to the point. First to it, it's Bunk. Drops a backhand down low. Hannes after it, able to chop it around. They battle for it, 2 aside. Jets skate away with it. Trying to center that, hit a skate out in front. Here's Cook with some patience, trying to break through, slow down. But on the follow-up, here's Waterman. Fresh Coast captain dumps it in with 12:30 left to go in the first period. Here's Bunk. Tried to center, that's off of a skate. Turned over, middle of the ice, here's Eggleston. Let the shot go, save made by Peacock. Rebound kicked into the corner. Good rebound control by Peacock as Cook lays the body down low. Played ahead. It's a race board. Off the bench, Caden Hill first to it. Chops to the board. Is able to find Seski as his pass ahead. Turned over. Here's Luska. Stops at the line just enough to allow it to be onside. Centering attempt looking for Stone. Through some skates. Here's Taylor. Dropped it off down low. That was Novak actually crashing the net. Hill tried to clear, unable to do so. Jets take it back. To the near side, it's Taylor. Stone. Nice saucer pass across. The Jets are able to set up in the offensive end. Here's Taylor. Lets a shot go. Deflected just wide as that was make that Hartzell, that was crashing the net. Shot from the point. Deflected wide again. Metro doing a good job of getting traffic in front. Getting deflections on pucks are just going wide at the moment. As that puck was going towards Van Zweden's blocker side, it was deflected back towards the glove. When you put a netminder in that position, it's almost impossible to make that save. Here's Partridge. Behind the back, wrap ahead pass. Into some open space taken back by the Jets. Freeze in the middle of a change. Stone quickly ahead. Here's Outman. Outman still with it to the behind the net. Good stick lift there. I believe that was Ryder Steele with the great play. Seski quickly ahead, looking for Partridge. Race for the puck. Has Hartzell first to it. That's deflected up into the Jets bench and out of play with 10:58 to go in the first period. Face-off kicked into the zone. Stevens, middle of the ice, looking for Partridge off of a skate. Out to center ice. Mandeville with a nice pass finds Blick. He'll slow it down back to Sherman near side as the Freeze have it in their own zone. Sherman plays it to an open wing. Icing is negated due to a deflection at center ice. Stone played it ahead. Breaking through. That's Bederka on the backhand. Centering attempt as a shot is blocked. Good play there by Mandeville. As he's able to stop the 2-on-1. Deflected the pass and got a piece of the shot. Centering attempt cleared away. Fournier goes down low. Partridge steps in. Is able to chop it away from Stone. Stone's able to win the battle back. Drops it off down low. That's Lucas Larson. Is pinned to the boards. Out in front. Opportunity. Save made by Van Zweden. He'll hold on to the rebound. Getting a great opportunity there. That's Noah Bederka. Petoskey, Michigan native, found himself alone in the circles. Van Zweden makes a nice pad stop with 10 minutes, 6 seconds left to go in the first period. Draw one back. Here's Bunk. Just down low to Cote. Pass across through some skates. Steele Stepped into his man along the Freeze. A skate away with a pass. It's a skate on goal held onto by Van Zweden as he had to be quick there. 9:53 to go in the first period of a 1-0 hockey game. Face-off one, back to the point. Wrapped around near side. Here's Kelly racing after it with Bunk. Jets first to it as it's wrapped down low. Centering attempt to hit Eshelman. Had a player open in the slot. That was Cote. Centering attempt off escape. Van Zweden will find it and hold on to that with 9:36 to go in the first period. Face off. Played ahead to Bunk at the point. He'll dump this down low. Race for it. Majeski to it. Bunk's able to hold it at the line as he sprays some snow up into the Fresh Coast bench. Good hustle there from number 9 in blue to keep the play alive. Here's Fournier. Lets a shot go as Van Zweden deflects that up into the protected netting and out of play with 9:16 to go in the first period. Face off deep in the free zone. To Fleming. Peevich walks middle of the ice, centering attempt to hit a skate. Riley is able to turn it back the other way, trying to find Lippert. Instead, Fleming knocks it out of the air. Lippert chops it off his stick. Down low, the Jets able to collect. Freeze trying to get a little more offensive zone time as Riley clips that to the boards. Trying to make a move around one, unable to do so. Hand pass will be called, but reason for that, the Freeze want to try to play more in the Jets zone as the games have gone on against the Jets for the Fresh Coast Freeze. The Jets have been able to pin the Freeze deep in their own zone, and when you're able to do that, you really, really put a team in a bind the way that the Freeze have been in against the Jets a few times. It just wears you down to try to defend for 60 minutes. You get a 1-goal lead against the team. That's probably in the first period not going to be the last goal scored. Shot save made, cleared away as down low. That was Glembowski carefully able to play that to the boards. That came off the pad right to his skates. Good hands there by Glembowski. Back the other way come the Jets. Nice play at the line by Seski as this is dumped up ice. Icing negated by the back linesman. Near side, Glembowski. Gets it right back. Nice give and go. Shot going wide. Held on to by Van Zweden. 8:16 to go in the first period. 1-0 Freeze on top. The Charlie Huntoon goals. That was Huntoon with the chance off the pad just moments ago. As he's one of the players that as the season has gone along, has gotten more comfortable. He has really excelled. I would say he started to really turn it on probably around the time of the Detroit Showcase. Scored a big goal against the Chicago Cougars to put the Freeze ahead in the final minute. That's kind of where his season took off from. Mandeville plays it back to Sherman. Sherman had to step up at the line to stop what could have been a 2-on-1. Good play there by Aiton White. Dumped in off a stick of a Freeze player. No icing. Here's Sherman. He'll chop it into the corner. Goes after it. Ahead near side to Waterman for Cook. Safely out to center ice. Moses is able to get his stick on the pass. Waterman plays it into the Jets zone. Here's Stone. Taylor with 7:29 to go in the first period. Shot deflected in. Steele goes after it. Tried to spin away. Turned over. Out in front. Opportunity. Peevich. Just a couple inches away from Luka Peevich scoring his 30th of the year. Cleared down the ice. Icing called against the Freeze, but they'll take it. Turned over behind the net. Peevich out in the slot. Rings the iron with 7:10 to go in the first period. That pressure behind the net is good for the Freeze going forward. Obviously, you want to handle it a little bit better, but I think if you wanted to ask the coaching staff of the Fresh Coast Freeze, they want to be pressured. They want to be forced into some really uncomfortable situations against this Jets team. 7:01 to go in the first period. Van Zweden holds on. And not for any reason of the MetroJets. They know the MetroJets have done that to the Freeze a few times, but getting ready for the playoffs, you're going to be put in a lot of uncomfortable positions in the postseason. Metro does a good job of doing that to opposing defenders. So for the Freeze, you got to get used to it. It's going to continue to happen. Puck down low. Here's Peevich. Dropped off, played away, near side. Partridge tried to clear, unable to do so. Peevich walks in near side. Deflected just high as Lucas Larson crashed the near side post. Goes up into the protective netting and out of play with 6:40 to go in the first period. Draw one by the Jets. Back to the point. Shot is blocked. Racing after it is Stevens. Being another 21 after. A Partridge backhand shot goes just wide. Near side Blick keeps it alive. Here's Fournier. Made that nice defensive play on Stevens to the line. Doesn't get out. Fournier, good stick to take it back. Here's Evangelista. Time and space as he'll transport it through the neutral zone. Majeski near side. As he fires a shot, save made, rebound collected by Majeski. He wraps it to the boards. Partridge couldn't find it. Freeze able to clear it away. Doesn't get out though. Battle to the boards. It's Fleming. Defenseman down low, able to wheel it around, takes a check. Able to move it to Evangelista. His pass deflected off a skate and out of the zone. Freeze will change quickly as Bunk moves the puck up ice to Evangelista, trying to catch the Freeze in a quick change. Freeze do a good job getting back into a semi-defensive posture. They'll take it away, trying to work it ahead. Ooh, that dump in hit Beckwith. Not in a great spot as he'll head to the bench. Here's Outman, shot goes wide. Eggleston off the bench, bumps Glombowski. Centering attempt as Eshelman reads that well. He'll chip this up off of the Grand Rapids Griffins. Let's go banner across the ice and out of play. 5:11 to go in the first period. Face-off pushed forward by Sharon. Steele pokes it behind the net. Sharon tried to go cross crease on the face-off play. Taylor back down low. They battle for it. Here's the Cogni. Back to the point. Taylor lets a shot go. Deflected out front. Save made by Van Zweden. The rebound is held on to. Wasn't sure where it was, but it was wrapped up in his paraphernalia with 4:55 to go in the first period. I would say this is probably the best period of hockey I think that Jacob Van Zweden has played all season, as he's made a couple of incredible stops so far in this contest. Here's Braden Kelly, transported out to neutral ice. Eggleston ahead to Kelly. Fires a shot that's blocked wide. Rebound behind the net. Eggleston uses the body to defend off his man. To the point, Mandeville fires a shot. Save made. The rebound available. Held on to by Peacock as he finds it quickly with the Trapper. 4:38 to go in the first period. 1-0 the score. Face-off comes to the left of Peacock. Draw one by the Jets. Face-off play sends Majeski ahead. Sherman's able to use the body to wall off his man. Majeski crashes the net to force. They face off with 4:30 to go in the first period. Pretty good play by A.J. Sherman there. Reading that when the Freeze lost the face-off, the Jets were running a face-off play from their own end. They're going to send Majeski, who can fly up the wing. Sherman got just enough of him in the defensive zone to not allow Majeski to walk in alone on Van Zweden. Freeze win the draw as Sherman skates up 3-on-2 ahead. Here's Riley. Leaves it for Sherman. Cuts the outside, fires a shot towards goal. Save made by Peacock. The rebound cleared away. Jets break out to the near side. Majeski comes back to it. He's hounded by Riley. Majeski finds it. He'll dump it in. Sherman after it with Cote. Puck wrapped around the boards to Stone. Sherman dislodges the man from the puck as the Frees are able to clear it ahead. Collected by Provencher. Moved ahead Hartzell into the zone. Hannes to it. Pressured immediately. Good help there by Lippert as he's able to chop it to the line. Doesn't get out. On the follow-up, Lippert's able to transport to the neutral zone. 2-on-1. He's got Huntoon crashing that. Lippert walks in, fires a shot. That's deflected up into the protective netting and out of play with 3:29 left to go in the first period. Not sure if Lippert saw the passing lane, but I think on a rewatch of that play, you'd see that Huntoon's crashing the net. If you could feather one in, get a breakaway from the dots in, but that was pretty well played by the MetroJets defense, as well as the back checker putting some pressure on Lippert. Not a lot of time and space for the Frees so far in this game. 3-on-1 back the other way. Here's Baderka. Setting it up off the skates. Bouncing around. Swinging back to the great shot from the bench. From the Waterford, Michigan native, keeping it a 1-0 game with 3:17 to go in the first period. Face-off played ahead by Moses. Waterman goes after it with Bunk. Waterman tried to make a move. Nice play by Hartzell. The stick away. Hartzell saw the body check come and got his head up. This is deflected in. Off the back wall. Seski to it. Played up the boards. Doesn't get out. Turned over. Here's Hartzell. Walks in. Middle of the ice. Chopped off his stick. Nice play by Hannes just to get enough of the puck as Hartzell was trying to walk into a dangerous scoring area. That's Novak. Centering pass deflected out of the zone. Here's Bunk. Quickly ahead, Baderka. Played just on sides as Hartzell made a diving effort to get back to the blue line, allowing the Jets back into the zone. Here's Hannes. Plays it up the wall. Bunk able to knock it down as Bunk and Partridge battle for it. Hannes on the follow-up is able to get the red line, dumps it in. That's where Brendan Hannes has really improved in his final year with the Frees, as he's a much better puck transporter this year than he was last year. More offensive in his game. That pass through the middle of the ice, kicked away by Blick, dumped in, down low. Here's Majeski. Centering attempt read well by Steele. Play to the wall, doesn't get out. Here's Blick on the follow-up. Wraps it around. Stevens will tip this out into the neutral zone with 1:50 left to go in the first period. Here's Fleming. It's a big 54. The Fresh Coast Frees going forward. Trying to get to the locker room with the lead. Turned over middle of the ice. Here's Majeski. Walks in. Opportunity near side shot. Save made by Van Zweden. Good stick there by Caden Hill. Doesn't allow Majeski to get everything on that shot with 1:34 to go in the first period. Face off to the Jets. Sakogny trying to step through. Able to walk out in front. Steering attempt that's just wide by Sharon. Cleared the middle of the ice. Kelly ahead for Eshelman. He'll bats that out of the air. Goes after it. He and Luska to the puck. Man goes down. No penalty coming. Mandeville steps in to disrupt that play just enough, allowing the rest of the team to get back. Here's Fleming. Wrapped around far side. Mandeville to it. Threw on the brakes. Slipped on a puck though. Battle for it, middle of the ice. Beckwith, good to see him back out on the ice. Couldn't get it out, though. Puck off the back of the net. Here's Sharon. Centering attempt. Red well there by Logan Eshelman as he'll take this out to center ice to the red line. Make sure this puck gets all the way into the Jet zone with 45 seconds to go in the first period. Beckwith to it. Trying to center. Nice read there by Zakogny as a 3-on-3 theft there. Glebowski looking out in front for Sharon. That pass just out in front of him. 33 seconds to go in the period. Shot towards goal goes wide of the net. Here's Taylor near side. Chopped that by Kelly. Taylor still with it. Back to the point. Shot goes off the outside of the cage to Beckwith. He'll wrap this into the Jet zone perfectly waited with 16 seconds left to go as it will not have enough for icing. Taylor up the ice quickly, 12 to go in the period. Shot, save made by Van Zweden. The rebound to the far side, Outman to it. Trying to get a centering attempt away, unable to do so with 5 seconds to go in the period. Brendan Hannis will pin this to the boards, and that will do it for us in what was a very entertaining first period of action between the MetroJets and the Fresh Coast Freeze. Freeze on top, 1-0 on the Charlie Huntoon goal. Right now, lone assist to Carson Riley, but I do believe that an assist will be added to Emerson Lipper as he won the faceoff on the goal. Freeze on top, 1-0 as we head to the intermission. And we come back, we'll recap all of the action as well as let you know what this game means for both teams going forward. We'll be back momentarily as you're watching USPHL Premier Hockey on Black Bear TV. Groups Ice House West, home of the Fresh Coast Freeze, home of today's USPHL Premier action between the Fresh Coast Freeze and the MetroJets. 1-0 the score, Freeze on top. The goal 6:10 into the first period from Charlie Huntoon, his 7th of the year. Assist to Carson Riley and Emerson Lippert. Carson Riley has 3 assists in 4 periods of Fresh Coast Freeze hockey this year. It was a face-off play. They ended up adding an assist to Emerson Lippert. As he won the draw, Riley fired the shot. It was off the post. Huntoon right there to bury the rebound. Second period of action, moments away. As we'll recap the first period, Metro outshot the Freeze 16-9. Jacob Van Zweden made 16 stops in the period. Evan Peacock made 8 saves. No penalties in the first, so neither special teams unit were asked to hit the ice in the opening period. Today's matchup for the Fresh Coast Freeze, they are locked into a playoff spot in their final spot. They are going to be the 6th seed. They will head to Red River for the first round of the playoffs, but they cannot look past this Metro team. Metro playing to try to collect 2 more points, give themselves a chance to become the 1 seed in the division for what could potentially be a matchup with Toledo later on in the playoffs. But we got a ton to go before we get to that spot. That's kind of discrediting the other teams in the division by doing that. But it's a good division this year where I think a lot of things could happen in the playoffs. You know, you get teams playing well. Columbus just beat Metro the other day. As here's Blick called down, no penalty coming. That pass off the official. Jets take over as the bench. Kind of giving it to the referee as that play was right behind the referee. The stick hit Blick as he was trying to break through for an odd man rush. No penalty coming. Rebound out in front. Shot goes just wide. The rebound back out in front. Kicked away. That shot up in the protective netting and out of play. Hayden Blick got his stick in the lane. Van Zweden was down, but Blick deflects the shot, keeping this a 1-0 game. Much like the first period, Metro comes out, gets a great scoring chance right off the hot. Blick there with a good stick in the lane keeps this a 1-0 game as Van Zweden made a couple of nice stops in that scrum. Draw 1 by the Jets. Here's Fournier. Wheels it down low. Blum battles with Lippert. Down low. Collected back the other way as the Freeze will get away with a trip on that play. 1-for-1. Both teams kind of getting away with what should have been a penalty here early on. Fournier, shot goes wide. Here's Blum, walks into it, fires a shot, save made by Van Zweden as he was able to see it the entire way with 18:58 left to go in the second period. The officials are going to let these guys decide it out on the ice. As you got to imagine that's the way it's going to be in the playoffs as well. For the Steel, they're prepping for for the Steel. Look right at Ryder Steel as I said that. For the Freeze, they are prepping for their first ever playoff game, as that'll be in Red River next weekend. Nice play there by Mitchell to stop the pass out in front. Eshelman's able to poke it to the line, doesn't get out. Played ahead. This time it does. Eshelman able to lift the stick, take it away. Played ahead, Mitchell. Steps in, leaves it for Eshelman. Down low, Mitchell spears it out in front to Beckwith off of his stick. Rolls to the point, backhanded in by Steele. Fair catch called for and collected by Peacock. With 18:31 left to go in the second period of a 1-0 hockey game. Faceoff will come deep in the Jets zone. Draw 1 by the Freeze. Here's Hannes. Had it poked off his stick. Sharon tried to break through. Puck got stuck and looked like a puddle. Sharon unable to push it away. That pass deflected off a stick of a Freeze player as Outman was going after Van Zweden out of the net to play it. Wraps it around near side to the point. Doesn't get out. Taylor fires a shot blocked by Seski. Sharon to it. Far corner. Seski with a good defensive play stopping the centering attempt off the net, back to himself. That was played down low by Evangelista. He gets it back, wrapped around near side, race for it. Huntoon collects. He'll hit the red line. Gets it into the Jets territory. Here's Luska. Nice outlet passes Evangelista into some space. 3-on-2 as they walk in the zone. Altman fires a shot. Save made by Van Sweden as he'll hold on with 17:39 to go in the second period of a 1-0 hockey game. It's a nice stretch pass there in the zone by the MetroJets. As when you're able to beat 3 forecheckers with one pass on the back end, you're going to get yourself a pretty decent look at the net. The Jets were able to do so there. With Outman getting a good look from the dot. Provencher goes across for Blum. Lets a shot go wide of the net on purpose. Rebound to the Jets. Back to the point. Here's Blum. Puck hops off his backhand. Makes a pretty good play to stop what would have been a breakaway the other way for Riley. Provencher with a nice move. Walks in the zone. 4-on-2. Zaccagni going across. Shot goes just high on the cross ice feed. As Zaccagni set up his man. That was Stone that just missed. Here's Stone again. In the corner. Back to the point. Provencher. Wrapped down low. Hartzell takes it. Pirouettes into some space. Cuts back middle of the ice. Trying to get a shot away. Stick lifted there by Sherman. Couldn't clear. Here's Provencher. Fires a shot wide of the net. Rebound available. Shot back to the point. Hartzell. On the interchange. Goes down low. Here's Zaccagni. Uses some strength to wall off a man. Back to the point. Blum. Provencher. Walks, fires a shot. Blocked down for the rebound. They slam it home on the doorstep. As A.J. Zaccagni will bury his 28th of the year. 1-1, 16:34 left to go in the second period. The initial shot was blocked, but the rebound landed perfectly for Zaccagni. He makes no mistake as we are tied here in the second period. Face-off back to center ice. Draw tied up. Skated away by Glombowski. Cuts to the backhand, still with it. Metro is buzzing here to start the second period. Here's Fournier. Lets a shot go. That's behind the net. Waterman to it. Here's Bunk. Shot deflected out in front. Pad save made by Van Sweden as he kicks it away with that left pad. Steele steps into his man. Nice job there by Bedurka staying strong on his feet. This time, Steele runs into his man, and that kind of sends a pile up. 2-on-1 for the Freeze. Here's Eggleston. Trying to go back to Waterman. Bouncing around. Fires a shot. Save made by Peacock. That bouncing puck made that a little bit tougher of a stop than what it appeared to be. As that puck, with the way it was rising, it was going to fall just as quickly. 2-on-1 back the other way for the Jets. Cote finds Bedurka. Walks in. Makes a move. Save made by Van Sweden as Bedurka couldn't finish. Nice play to set up Bedurka by Cote as they battle for it. 1-on-2 down low. Play to the near side. Here's Bunk. Errant stick there. Glombowski's able to navigate it. Played back to the point. Fleming makes a move on his forehand. Cross-ice pass. Fearing a shot. Save made by Van Sweden as he stops. A great attempt there on the far side as that was Novak who fired that from the right circle. Great stop there by Van Sweden with 15:12 to go in the second period of a 1-1 hockey game. Blum and Provencher the assist on A.J. Zaccagni's 28th goal of the campaign. Here's Blick. Played in the Jet zone. Blick goes after, trying to center. Good play by Fleming coming back. Looking for Stevens, middle of the ice. That's poked away. Seski keeps the play alive. Here's Partridge trying to center. Good stick in the lane by the Jets. Kicked away from the front of the net. First to it, it's Luska. Stevens steps up in a forechecking roll, able to take it away for a moment, but Luska takes it back, trying to go full center ice. Nice play there by Hannes to break up the stretch pass. Freeze back the other way. That Stevens just couldn't corral it. Peacock will hold on with 14:27 to go in the second period. 1-1 score. Been a pretty entertaining hockey game so far through about the first half, as we're just under 4 minutes 30 seconds away from the halfway point. These two teams have played a pretty entertaining matchup. The Jets have held quite a bit of offensive zone time, but the Freeze have probably had more time in the offensive zone against the MetroJets in this game than they've had probably in most of the other games. I'm not going to necessarily say combined, but not a lot of offensive zone time for the Freeze against the Jets historically. Today has been a little bit better. It's been one of the, I'd say probably the better first halves of a game for the Freeze this year. Played ahead, Eshelman 2-on-1. Walks in near side, Eshelman trying to center backhand across, save made the rebound off the outside of the net as Beckwith just missed. Peacock came over to cut the angle down. Good defensive play. I believe that was Gabe Outman who made the play defensively to break up the 2-on-1. Here's Beckwith across for Kelly. Dumped in by Sherman. 13:41 to go in the first period. Stretch pass ahead, looking for Outman. That goes awry. Lineswoman on the far side waves it off as Outman was going to be the first to it there, no icing. Here's Eshelman. Ahead for Huntoon. The zone 1-on-2, tried to fire a shot that's blocked behind the net. Wrapped around near side. Eshelman didn't see it as he was heading off the ice. Freeze do a good job there, though, of not picking up a too many men on the ice penalty as Zakogny and Seski down low. Zakogny from his backside able to make the play. Nice play there by number 3 in the blue. Seski blocks that pass out of the air to the line, doesn't get out. Outman in the middle of the ice, fires a shot, ripped it just wide on the glove side. Great stretch pass out in front. Zakogny blocker save made by Van Zweden. A pretty good stop there. Confidently with the waffle, was able to play that away. Lippert deflected out to center ice by Riley. Fournier and Huntoon go after it. Huntoon plays it into an open corner. Zakogny after it, quickly ahead. Doesn't get out of the zone. Lippert keeps it alive. Here's Lippert again. Couldn't corral a bouncing puck. Played out by Zakogny. Makes a move around one, still with it. Leaves it for Evangelista. Fires a shot that's blocked as that was Riley that got back. Middle of the ice. Evangelista shot is blocked out in front. Ryder Steele with the block there. Sherman to the corner. Doesn't get out. Fandon. Jets take over. Here's Stone. Finds Bunk. Lets a shot go from the point. Save made. The rebound cleared away. As Huntoon finds the puck quickly ahead for Riley. Played back middle of the ice. Good play by the Jets to clear it away as Riley walks the line, tries to make a move. Still with the puck. Riley fires a shot that goes just wide. Steele on the near side. He'll fire. Blocked. Eshelman steps up to pinch at the line. Doesn't keep the play in the zone, but stops what could have been an odd man rush the other way. Here's Eggleston, the forward in defensive posture. Had his stick lifted, but is able to play it to the wall, off the glass to Bunk. This is dropped down to the ice by Bunk, played by a Jets player first, therefore it'll be a hand pass with 11:23 left to go in the second period. Played ahead, here's Cook. Cook walks in near side on the forehand. Shot is blocked. Nice play by Taylor. Centering a pass off of a skate of a Jets defender. Peacock had to be quick as he's able to hold on to that one with 11:14 to go in the second period. As Cook fired it towards the middle of the ice, it hit a skate, rolled on net. Peacock quickly able to get the paddle down and hold on. 11:14 to go in the second period. Draw one by the Jets. Here's Blum. Up the boards, able to play it ahead. Nice pass to find Cote on the stretch. Walks in, shot off the goalpost. Second time the Jets have rang the pipe in this contest as Cote had a golden opportunity on a beautiful stretch pass. Just couldn't bury it. Whistle blows as the net came off earlier in the sequence with 10:52 to go in the second period. Faceoff will stay deep in the Freeze zone. Draw deep in the Freeze zone. Opportunity off the draw. Peevich just missed on the glove side as he let a laser beam go off the draw. Rip to the near side. Hannes goes after it with Majeski. Eggleston sticks his nose in as well as Hannes played it ahead looking for Waterman. Instead, Bunk is able to collect, dumps it right back in. Here's Steele. 10:30 to go in the second period. Goes to Eggleston. Up the boards, doesn't get out. Majeski with a nice play to keep it in. There's a shot glove save made by Van Zweden. As it looked like Majeski was trying to find Hartzell on the back door. Van Zweden is able to pick that out of the air with 10:22 to go in the second period. Face-off won by the Freeze. Hannes to it. Goes to Steele. Couldn't get it out, though. Nice play there by Glombowski. Is able to wall off. Able to fight his way to the front of the net. Puck cleared away to the board. Shot save made by Van Zweden as he angles the rebound to the wall. Banked ahead. Good play there by Fournier as Stevens was trying to step through. Stevens is able to play it into the zone. Bunk collects at the circles. His pass knocked out of the air. It's Blick, 3-on-2. Walks in, shot goes wide of the net. Partridge races after it to the point. Hannes turns, fires. That goes wide. Here's Stevens. His number 21 counterpart, Fournier, able to play it away. Outlet pass off of Outman into the corner. Hannes goes after it with Outman. Hannes up the wall. Stevens to help out. Doesn't get out. Here's Luska. His shot blocked by Blick. Rebound to the far side as Steele chops at it. Kept alive by Novak. Come near side, Sharon. Down low, Novak. Back to the point. Sluska. Dropped off down low, centering attempt. Sharon couldn't get the shot away initially. Still finds it. He centers. That's off a skate. Race for it as Stevens is able to take it away. Shane Stevens in alone on Peacock. Stevens walks in. Backhander has his stick lifted. Good play coming back as Stevens couldn't get the shot away. Here the Jets back the other way, 2-on-1. That pass for Outman just ahead of him. As Seski's able to keep him to the wall. Here's Stone. Couldn't corral it in the danger area as you'll find it in the corner. Pass taken there by Stevens. Trying to make a move at the blue line. Doesn't get out. On the second chance, Hannes hits the red line. Using his strength will chop it into the zone. Luska to collect. Freeze in the middle of a change. Nice move by Luska on his own end as he'll navigate his way through the neutral zone. Try to make one more move taken from him. Beckwith quickly ahead as Eshelman walks in near side. Eshelman gets the shot just wide on the blocker side. A diving effort coming back as that was Provencher. Turned over. Here's Kelly. He'll rip. Glove save made by Peacock as he'll hold on with 8:10 to go in the second period. Couple opportunities for the Freeze. Unable to cash in on a couple of breakaways. Give a lot of effort for the Metro defense. Give you a lot of credit for the effort the Metro defense put in coming back on the breakaway. As that diving effort from Provencher on the Eshelman chance was able to affect the shot. Draw one by the Jets. Played ahead. That's back into the Jet zone. That play is onside as Eshelman tries to walk through. Kelly drops off for Beckwith. Trying to go back to Kelly. Good defensive play as that was Provencher that got in the passing lane. Here's Sherman. Lobs it on net. Peacock kicks it away. Taylor to Provencher off the wall to himself. Freeze forecheck. Steps in as they battle along the wall. On the far side, here's Taylor. Stretch pass deflected. That puts the play offside as Peevich touches. Icing indicated by the lineswoman on the near side and called with 7:26 left to go in the second period. Face-off comes to the right of Peacock. Draw one by the Jets. Raptor heads up as that comes into the stands. right into our kitchen and your living room. As a reminder, if you get a puck at a Fresh Coast Freeze game, that is 15% off of an appetizer at Biggie's Sports Grill. Draw one. Played ahead by the Jets as Majeski takes a bump into the boards. Here's Mitchell. Deflected by Huntoon up into the Freeze bench and out of play with 7:07 left to go in the second period. Draw played ahead. Jets first to it. It's Majeski. 7:04 to go in the second period. Turns, fires a shot that hit Glombowski. As friendly fire in front of the net. Riley, Carson Riley, trying to make a move around Fleming. Good play to slow him down. Fleming bats it ahead. Mitchell there. Out to the middle of the ice. Mandeville with a good stick in the lane. Slows that play down. Taken away by Riley. He'll dump it into the corner as Bunk and Lippert go after it. Bunk first to it, wraps up the wall, doesn't get out. A steal on the backhand, dumps it down low. Whistle blows as we got a penalty coming. As Emerson Lippert is down, able to work his way back up to his feet. This will be a slashing call. I believe it'll be Bunk who gets the penalty. Indeed, it will be. So, power play opportunity for the Fresh Coast Freeze. They're going to go up against a penalty kill clicking at 86% for the MetroJets. They have 7 shorthanded goals on the year. Freeze power play, is clicking at 17%. That's good for 46th in the league. Metro's penalty kill 14th in the league. They win the draw. It's off the wall. Partridge able to keep it alive. Played it down low. Centering attempt out in front. Good clear there by the Jets. Van Sweden. Out of his net to tee it up. Leaves it for Seski. Glombowski with good hustle to take it away. Metro on the attack on the penalty kill as Glombowski tried to play it back. Partridge takes it away. Partridge spins back, defended by 2 players. Zakogny steps up, makes another move. Zakogny in all alone against Van Sweden. Walks in, makes a move, finds a shot, and he scores. AJ Zakogny with his second goal of the contest as he goes solo effort, coast to coast, and buries it over the blocker. 2-1 Metro on top with 5:54 to go in the second period. A shorthanded tally, give them now 8 on the year. Face off back to center ice. 2-1 Metro leads, a minute 22 left to go in the man advantage. Draw one by the Jets. They'll wrap this off the boards down the ice. Mandeville will skate to it with a minute 15 to go in the man advantage. 5:45 to go in the second period. Here's Hannes. Tacks all the way into the zone. Has it chopped off his stick. Good play there by Luska. Mandeville on the regroup. Rips this around the wall. Peacock out of his net. Couldn't corral it. To the line. Doesn't get out. Waterman. Leaves it for Hannes. Who leaves it for Beckwith. Back to Waterman. Walks to the top. Finds Beckwith. He'll attack near side. Hannes. Middle of the ice. Waterman. Goes to Mandeville. Near side. Lets the shot go. Deflected out in front off the outside of the cage. To the line that just bounces over the stick of Waterman. That last deflection by Cook. Taken away. Opportunity. Badurka to the outside. Fires a backhand up and over the net. 28 seconds to go in the man advantage. Rebound. All the way out to the line as Provencher will collect. Blum takes his time. He'll dump this down the ice. Outman and Mandeville go after it. Mandeville first to it. Throws on the brakes. Outman, pretty good job to stay with him. Here's Mandeville. 10 to go in the period. Lifts one. Looking for Cook. Deflected. They'll battle along the blue line. 2 seconds to go as the power play is over. Jets player off the bench, turning into a 3-on-1 out of the box. Provencher on front. Shot. Save made the rebound. Deflected. Sweden stopped out with the goal. Still with it. Jets turn to fire. That shot is fanned on. Rebound to the point. Evangelista does a good job keeping it in the zone. They work it down low. Peevich back to Provencher. Cross ice. Blum fires a shot. Save made by Van Zweden with 4 minutes, 4 seconds left to go in the second period of a 2-1 hockey game. AJ Zakogny's shorthanded goal is the difference in this one. 2-1 Metro on top, as Zakogny's first goal was scored from Blum and Provencher. As we'll update the scoring when we get the update. So I believe right now that goal is unassisted from Zakogny. Centering attempt out in front. Peevich fanned on the shot. The second chance save made as Majeski let it rip from the left face-off dot. 3:54 to go in the second period of a 2-1 hockey game. Draw tied up, skated away by Huntoon. Lost at the red line, able to regather, dumps it in. Here's Bunk. Goes after it with Riley. Bunk with a nice play to the corner. He'll go after it himself. Pass ahead. Goes awry. Steal after it. Pressured by Zakogny. It's off the dasher board. Fournier dumps it back in. Here's Hill. That pass may have been deflected, but wouldn't matter as it's on the free side of the red line, therefore coming back as an icing with 3:22 to go in the second period of a 2-1 hockey game. Draw tied up. Pontoon skates to it, trying to clear it off the wall to the point. Fournier fires a shot. Save made by Van Zweden as that hit him right in the Freeze logo with 3:15 to go in the second period of a 2-1 hockey game. Rebound low, Seski. Mitchell chops it ahead to Stevens. That pass split Blick and Partridge. Will not have enough for icing, but Bunk will collect in the Metro zone. 3 minutes, 1 second left to go in the second period. Here's Bunk. Coast to coast still with the puck. Isaiah Bunk ran into Seski. Seski with a nice play to wrap it to the near side. Novak keeps it alive. Hartzland Mitchell got tied up down low. Seski to it. Here's Partridge. His pass for Stevens. Deflected ahead. Here's Sean Stevens trying to break through. Gets to the puck. Cannot collect it as it was just too far out in front of him. Play to the near side. Partridge. Out in front looking for Stevens. Fans on the shot as Partridge with a great saucer pass. Led to the opportunity. Here's Hartzell. Had to steam across the far side. Good stick by Mitchell, and Partridge coming back to slow down that opportunity. Here's Partridge. Off the wall for Stevens. Walks in near side all alone. Still with it. Fires a shot short side. That's off the outside of the cage. They battle for it behind the net. Cleared around to Novak. Mandeville pressures him immediately. Played in behind the net as Van Zweden will tee it up for Braden Kelly. Minute 45 to go in the second period. 2-1 the score. Kelly's pass read by Luska. Ashelman lifted the stick, tried to play it across the ice. That shot on, or that was going wide of the net, held on to by Van Zweden with a minute 36 left to go in a 2-1 hockey game in the second period. Draw one by the Jets to the point. Fleming. Down low, Mandeville is able to lift a stick Puck to an open wing. Centering attempt. Shot save made. Nice backhand pass by Bedurka as Cote let it go from the danger area. Beckwith takes a hit, makes the play. Dumped in as that takes a funny hop off the board. Sherman had to be alert. And is able to transport it to the blue line as that bounced right out in front of the net. Bedurka trying to center. That pass deflected away. Rebound pass. Looking for Stone. Deflected away. Minute to go in the first period. That pass, Fleming couldn't corral it on the initial attempt. Puck escapes the zone. Therefore, the Jets will regroup. Here's Sherman. Played ahead. It's Beckwith. Peacock out of his net. A little head fake. Nifty pass out to the middle of the ice to Bedurka. Yep, that was Bedurka who collected that pass. Nice play there by Luska. As on the backhand, he was able to send a perfect outlet pass. And that sometimes is the difference of being able to break out of your zone easily versus the forecheck pressure getting to you. Big collision on the far side. Turned over. Here's Huntoon. Fires a shot. Save made by Peacock. As Charlie Huntoon in a bid for his second of the day is robbed by Evan Peacock. 16 seconds to go in the first period. Make that second period, excuse me. A 2-1 score in the game. Faceoff stays in the Jet zone with 16 to go in the period. Draw one, Hannes plays it down low. Trying to wrap it around, it's Lippert, he bangs away. As he'll be buried into the outside of the cage. And that's what's going to happen when you go to the scoring areas. He and Provencher are talking about it. With the playoffs around the corner, that's something you're going to have to expect. If you're going to go to that blue paint, you're going to take a whack. Either the back of your legs, your back, your shin pads, you're going to get hit with a stick. If you enter that blue paint area, that's just something the Freeze should probably just get used to because it's going to happen for the next time they play as well as this game. Quickly ahead with 3 seconds to go. Do the Jets have enough time? 1 second to go, and they get it across the ice. Not enough time as the whistle blows, signifying the end of the second period. As that'll do it for us here in the second period. The Jets' A.J. Zakokny scores twice to give the Jets a 2-1 lead as we head to the second intermission. When we come back, we'll recap the first 40 minutes as well as get you ready for the final 20.
And just all day without any time, the green light flashes, the flags go out, churning and burning, they are full of faith.
Ice House West, home of the Fresh Coast Freeze, home of today's USPHL Premier action between the Fresh Coast Freeze and the MetroJets, as this roller coaster ride that's been the 25-26 season approaches its final 20 minutes of regulation. Metro on top 2-1 as we start the third period. Partridge try to play it across, read well by the Jets defense. Here's Stevens, his pass to flex around. Sharon knocked it down with the glove. Freeze were able to touch first, no hand pass. Seski off the boards. This is dumped in. Van Zweden kicks it to the side. Hannes and Zakogny first to it. Zakogny on natural hat trick watch as he has the last two goals of this contest. "27 seconds into this third period, puck bounces out of play as we'll get a face-off. Remember, if you're able to collect a puck at a Fresh Coast Freeze game, well, I mean, that's going to be a little bit different because if you collect one now, it's going to be hard to find one if you're watching at home. But Big E's 25% off appetizers if you were to return a puck at a Fresh Coast Freeze game. Shot saved, the rebound held on to by Van Zweden, so you had to be quick there. 19-19 to go in the third period. 2-1 the score. Draw one by the Freeze. Here's Mandeville on the backhead to Kelly. Quickly ahead, Eshelman walks through middle of the ice, leaves it for Beckwith, drives, fires a shot that goes just wide on the blocker side as Kelly steps into Stone. Played back the other way. Peevich is pressured by Beckwith on the back check. Good pressure there from Trace Beckwith, who we talked about Huntoon improving throughout the year. Trace Beckwith has really become an impressive player for the Freeze, using his size to make plays. The points might not be what you would think for a player that's on a top line, but when you do the little things, it just makes your team that much better, and Beckwith has continued to do those throughout the year. Turned over, here's Hartzell. Tried to center, that's deflected away to the point. Bunk goes after it, gets enough of that as Eshelman was trying to chop it by him for an odd man rush. That's out of play with 18:34 to go in the third period as the players deliver another 25% off appetizer. Except that one looks like it went to the coaching staff, so 7 appetizer, that puck is going to continue to be a hockey puck. 19:34. I think that 18:34 left to go in the period. Freeze win the draw. Here's Mitchell. Played to Kelly. Steele. He's able to play it out into the neutral zone. Luska. Field collect in the Jets' end. Far side, here's Taylor. Quickly across to Evangelista. Dropped off, here's Outman. Fires a shot. Save made by Van Zweden as he'll hold on. That puck hit him in the shoulder and fell into his trapper as he calmly holds on with 18 minutes, 7 seconds left to go in the third period of a 2-1 hockey game. Draw one. Straight back as Van Zweden will hold on with 18:05 to go in the third period. Face-off won by the Jets. Here's Blum. Makes a play. Well, he takes a hit all the way to the far side. Provencher fires a shot that hits a skate. Here's Riley. Lobs a pass, looking for Huntoon over his head. Play is onside as Huntoon and Provencher go into the wall. Pass deflected by Hannes as that was Novak trying to break through. Deflection, here's Huntoon, walks in near side. Had to collect as it was in his skates, makes a nice move to the backhand. Centering attempt, good read there. Free still with the puck. Lippert fires a backhand just wide on the glove side. Here's Hannes. Trying to interchange with Lippert, taken away as Provencher finds Larson, cutting up the near side. Larson all over, shot save made by Van Zweden as he'll hold on with 17-18 left to go in the third period. Nice stop there from Jacob Van Zweden. Chances both ways. Face-off stays deep in the Freeze zone. Draw one by the Jets. Here's Fleming. Shot from the point, save made by Van Zweden. Was able to kick it away with the left pad. Centering attempt out in front. That's kicked away. Back to the point. Bunk steps to it. Moses guards him. Bunk spins away from Moses. Cuts to the backhand. Still with a backhand shot blocked out in front. The Waterman stuck his skate in the way. Here's Moses trying to dump it in. Glombowski on the back checks, take it away. Bunk tried to break through. It's cleared to Zakogny, who finds Glombowski. Deflected off his stick by Sherman. So he'll navigate his way back into his own end. A.J. Sherman winds it up along the far side. Plays it off the wall to him. Try to play it to himself, but gets it out of the zone. Mandeville collects it from Van Zweden. Waterman with a nice outlet pass to Cook as he is able to get it out to center ice. Here's Bunk. Quickly back into the Freeze zone. as the Jets have the Freeze pinned at the moment. 16:20 to go in the period. Good move there by Hill. Tried to break through, unable to do so. Still battle along the wall. Zakogny plays it around. Here's Cook. Had his stick tied up, able to get the shot off. Icing indicated and called by shot. I mean clearing attempt that hit the outside of the cage and rolled off. Therefore, icing with 16 minutes, 2 seconds left to go in the third period. Draw one back to the point. Here's Hartzell. Rips it down low. First to it is Peevich. Navigates. Cross ice. Opportunity shot save made by Van Zweden as he kicks the rebound out of the zone. That sends Blum back in neutral ice as he'll collect. Pirouettes into some space. Here's Peevich. Surveys from the wall. Finds Stone dashing through the middle of the ice. Leaves it for Hartzell. Back to Peevich. Fires a shot. Save made by Van Zweden. Nice passing play by the Jets. Leads to a great opportunity for Peevich. Van Zweden equal to the task there with 15:36 left to go in the third period. Play back to the point, Taylor. On the backhand, rips it around, Peevich. Here's Luska. Makes a head fake. Dumps it off down low. Taylor steps up from the point to keep it alive. Centering attempt off of a stick away. Partridge tried to clear, unable to do so. On the follow-up, Hill makes sure this gets out to center ice. Peevich, though, takes it back. Right back in. Here's Hartzell. 1-on-2 along the near side. Hartzell trying to dash back through the middle of the zone. Deflected away from him. Here's Stone. Steele's able to chop it off his stick. Peevich. Down low, Stone. Navigates. Drives to the net. Still with it on the far side. As Stone plays it back to the point. Luska. Down low. Stone on the half wall. Fires a shot that's blocked out in front. As here's Blick. Skates into some open ice. Here's Blick still with the puck. Cuts back. Fires a shot. Save made. The rebound just past Sean Stevens. He was crashing the net. Hayden Blick tried to pass it off the pad. A nice play there from Blick. Ends up with a good chance for the Freeze. Just unable to capitalize. Play down low as Cote and Luska go after it. Beckwith chops it away from Cote. Wrapped around near side. Hartzell to it. Played off the board. Seski was able to pinch in, keep the play alive, but right back to the Jets as Hartzell will survey. Hounded by Kelly. Makes a nice move still through the neutral zone. Hartzell walks in, fires a shot. That was deflected out in front. That goes just wide. It took the stick out of the hands. Out in front, 2-on-0. Shot. Save made to Van Zweden. Dear how he stopped Cote on the doorstep. 2-on-0 and it somehow doesn't go. Back the other way. Here's Evangelista. Chops it off the boards to himself. Eshelman takes it away. Beckwith got his head up. Eshelman breaks through on the near side. Eshelman cuts back to the backhand. Still with it. Hauled down from behind. As a penalty coming, we will see the decision. I think it's just going to be a 2 minutes for hooking from behind, because I don't think Eshelman was on a clear breakaway. It'll be a power play coming up for the Freeze. Eshelman was tripped. It'll be 2 for tripping on Fleming. 13:33 left to go in the third period. A huge opportunity for the Fresh Coast Freeze on the power play. But remember, it was on a Fresh Coast power play that A.J. Zakogny was able to untie it. So for the Freeze, you wanted to get the scoring opportunity, but you got to be careful. You cannot allow another shorthanded goal in the contest. For the face-off, we have the center tossed out. Here's Mandeville. Good job to keep the play alive as they got a hot pass right off the draw. Cook wraps it around far side, left for Hannes. To it. Leaves it for Waterman. Jets are pressuring immediately on the outside. Cook pins it to the wall, taken there. Wrapped around near side, past Hannes and down. As this Metro penalty kill, they are being super aggressive along the wall as well as on the forecheck. Here's Hannes. Finds Cook. Cook will transport it up the ice. Left it behind. Huntoon to it. Tried to play it through the middle of the ice. Taylor finds it. He'll dump it down. Outman would have won the race to the puck as Van Zweden tried to play it behind Beckwith, is able to use his body to dislodge the man from the puck. Turned over in front, save made the rebound, kicked away, has Outman to it. Minute 4 seconds left to go in the man advantage. Taylor cross ice to Provencher. Is he going to hold on to this? Dumps it ahead, looking for Outman. Would have been a breakaway. Deflected out in front by a Freeze player. That made it a tough catch for Outman on the breakaway. Here's Riley. He goes down, point in front, diving effort though by Kelly. Would have been an opportunity for the Jets on the doorstep as the Freeze power play stuck in their own zone. Here's Riley. Leaves it for Seski. He's pressured immediately. Lobs a high one out to Kelly. He'll knock it down with the glove as he'll rip this into the zone. Gets drilled along the boards as he takes the hit to make a play. Here's Outman. Nearly took the official's head off as Kelly kind of glided back to his own zone. You can't do that with Zaccagni out there as he's going to pressure immediately. It's turned over. Jets forecheck causing havoc on this Fresh Coast power play as here's Blum. He'll go to Provencher as back to 5-on-5 as the Jets had a ton of time in the offensive zone on that penalty kill. Here's Peevich. Play would have been an icing, but Peevich was there first. Jets looking to build off that kill. Try to use some momentum. Make this a 2-goal game. Riley takes it away. Play to the middle of the ice as Blum finds it, dumps it back in. Seski. Lobbed up the walls. Partridge collects. His pass looking for Riley through some skates as this is dumped back into the zone. Partridge goes after it with Fournier. Partridge off the back of the wall. Eggleston in there. Pushes Stone off the puck. Partridge has it out in front for Cook. Fires a shot. They score! Just way through the third period, we are tied at 2. Noah Partridge has had a strong contest today. He's a very talented player who, for a little bit of the season, kind of went through a dry spell, a slump, and today he's played very well, in my opinion, as that's dumped in off the draw, no icing. Right there, Partridge able to take the puck away, turns it into an opportunity. Cook was able to find a gap in the defense, gets the shot off, and the Freeze are tied at 2. I believe Jesse Eggleston will get his first ever point with the Fresh Coast Freeze as Waterman pokes it in. He goes after it. That play is Noah Partridge from Jesse Eggleston on the assist to Cook, his 4th of the year. Turn back the other way, odd man rush, 3-on-1. Here's Taylor, cross ice pass, opportunity, trying to center. It's behind the net. So that pass was just a little too far out in front of the Metro's attacker to be able to get a decent shot away. He tried to center it, that hit a skate and went behind the cage with 9:50 to go in a 2-2 hockey game. Ahead, Steele deflects it at the red line, no icing. Fournier to collect. Play to the line, Partridge. Sherman steps up, makes a play, slows down the attack. Blick got his head up, tried to play it to the wall, came back to him, got his head up again. See, he was lined up there in Zaccagni's tracks. Here's Partridge, lets a shot go, save made by Peacock. 9:21 to go in the third period of a 2-2 hockey game. Face off deep in the Jet zone. Draw one by the Jets. Here's Provencher. He's got an assist in today's contest. Right now on the game sheet online, they don't have the second Zaccagni goal. So the game sheet has it at 2-1. Face off deep in the free zone. It's played out into the Jet zone. No icing on the play. Centering attempt found by Hartzell as he'll walk into the zone. Leaves it there for Stone. Surveys near side, trying to center. That's deflected away. Stone gets it back, though. Walks out middle of the ice. That shot is blocked by A.J. Sherman. Down low. Stone again. Jackson shoots the crossbar as Jackson Stone had a great look there. Down low, Peevich. He's hauled down by Sherman as the MetroJets power play will get its first opportunity of the day. A little pushing and shoving afterwards. Didn't quite see what happened there, but dominating shift by the trio of Hartzell, Stone, and Peevich leads to a MetroJets power play coming with 8:24 to go in the third period. Tell them that the online score sheet has it at 2-1. Us. What? That the online score sheet has it at 2-1 instead of 2-2. What? Face off deep in the Freeze zone. Huge penalty kill for the Freeze coming up as they are able to clear it down the ice. The Metro power play clicking at 28%. That's good for 5th in the league. 69% for the Fresh Coast PK. That's good for 73rd. Here's Bederka on the half wall. Zakogny tried to go back to Bederka, is able to regather, goes to Taylor, far side. Centering across, Bederka fanned on it. Good pass across the ice as that was Majeski. Going for it again. Bederka has to kick this one out of the air. Does a good job to keep possession, though. Here's Taylor. Walks in. Taylor. Centering attempt off the back door attempt from Grabowski. He got to stick to it, but just couldn't get it in the cage. Jake Taylor showing off why. He has 51 assists on the year. Here's Bederka on the backhand. He'll throw on the brakes. Slows it down to Luska. They go far side. Peevich walks in, fires a shot. He just missed. Well, enough force to wrap this all the way into the Metro end with 49 seconds to go in the period. Jackson Stone winds it up. He'll attack down the far side. Stone still with it. Fires the shot. Score! Jackson Stone, the Reese Puffer native, gives the MetroJets a 3-2 lead on the power play with 7:05 to go in the third period. As Stone goes coast to coast. Hey, looks like that shot was deflected out in front as it beat Van Zweden low to the ice. The stick was deflected.
Hey, John! John! John!
3-2 Jets on top as the Freeze have 7 minutes to try to answer that Metro goal. Here's Sherman, first to it. Lobs it high in the air. Bunk's able to collect. And they're going to, it's not necessarily a hand pass, but because Bunk caught the puck and advanced it to himself, the whistle is blown. 3-2 with 6:55 to go in the third period. Face off across from the bench. Bunk. Cross ice pass. Dumped in, as that was Fournier. Freeze to it along the near wall. Bounces out in front. Eshelman had to be quick. He's able to dump this out to center ice. Here's Fournier. 3-2 Metro on top. 6:39 to go in the third period as the two teams have traded goals in the third period. Mandeville lobs one out to center ice. Bunk this time. Careful not to put his hand around the puck as he catches it and dumps it in. 3-on-3 the other way. Nice stick in the lane by Stone as Beckwith tried to play it in. That was played in by the Jets, but they're going to say that it was off sides. called by the lineswoman on the far side with 6:18 to go in the third period. Face-off won by the Freeze. Ryder Steele dumps it in. Peacock carefully tees it up for Provencher. Near side pass doesn't get out as Stevens leaves it for Blick. He'll attack down the near side. Blick center for Partridge. Fires just wide on the blocker side as Noah Partridge released a ripper of a shot that just missed above the blocker. Give and go. Opportunity Novak. Backhand shot. Save made by Van Sweden as he keeps the game a one-goal contest. A beautiful play there from Novak and Evangelista. Give and go through the neutral zone. Van Sweden equal to the task with 5:53 to go in the third period. Jacob Van Sweden having himself probably his best game of the year, all things considered. He's been terrific for the Freeze. Taylor lets a shot go. He fans on it. Here's Blick. He'll transport through the neutral zone. Good play there by Taylor to poke it off of his stick. On the follow-up, Hannes was able to keep the puck in the zone. Look out for the Freeze defenseman starting to pinch. Van Sweden came out to play it. Nice play there by Noah Partridge. Has been all over the place on both sides of the ice today. Here's Taylor. Walks in, centers the pass. That's taken there. Looking for Partridge on the outlet. Instead, they find the MetroJets who dump it back in. Stevens to Seski on the near side. He fires a backhand quickly out. Zakogny has 2 goals in the contest. He'll dump in with 5:09 to go in the third period of a 3-2 hockey game. Here's Hannes. Up the wall, Huntoon. Nifty play there to outlet for Lippert, who finds Riley near side. Great play by Fleming to break that up. Here's Huntoon walking in. Huntoon fires a shot. Save made by Peacock. As he came out to challenge the shooter there, Charlie Huntoon with a nice play. Using his body, as his frame is about 6'2". He's a big, strong kid. Using his hips and his body to be able to get that shot off with 4:53 to go in the third period. Peacock making a pretty good stop on that shot. Face-off won by the Jets. Here's Bunk. Nice outlet there by the Jets. They break out to the near side. Larson, 2-on-1. Sharon cutting to the net. They get to Sharon. That's just off of his kick wide. Zakogny gets to the rebound. Here's Sharon and Mandeville. Sharon uses his shoulders to ward off Mandeville, sending that stick flying. Here's Fleming. Cross ice. Opportunity for Bunk. Lets a shot go. So blows, but great play by Mandeville as he was there to clear it off the goal line. 4:26 to go in the third period. Freeze a bit fortunate there as Mandeville was in position and the official whistled it down. Sometimes when your netminder's playing so well, it's like a catcher in baseball. You know, your catcher, if they can frame the ball every time in the right spot, you're going to steal yourself a couple of strikes. When your netminder's playing well, you might steal a whistle or two because the referee assumes that they're swallowing up every single shot towards net. Trying to find Bloom on the back door. He throws on the brakes. He's pushed into the wall there by Hannes. Battle for it along the wall. Back to the point. Here's Hartzell. Walks in, trying to feather one down low. That shot passes blocked. Blum on the deflection out in front. As Van Sweden has it somehow. It's behind him, but he's able to hold on. I am not sure how Baderka didn't deflect that into the zone. With 4 minutes left to go, that ended up on the backside of Jacob Van Sweden. Somehow he held it out. Draw one by the Freeze. Looking for Steele. It's turned over. Here's Hartzell. Cuts out in front. Trying to drop it off down low. Mitchell deflected it away from Blum initially, but he's able to recollect. Played back to the wall. Fournier with 3:43 to go. That shot blocked. Second chance, he just wisely plays it down low. Enric Fournier has it at the point. Cross ice for Bloom. Right point pass up the wall. Gets it back. Fires a shot that's blocked out in front by Eshelman. That caught him up high. As you can see how much that did not feel good. Eshelman makes his way to the bench, but he's going to get a big round of applause from his teammates stepping into that shot. 3:18 to go in the third period. 3-2 the score. Hartzell Metro doing a good job of keeping the puck in the Fresh Coast end. They have a 1-goal lead. Shot from the point, save made by Van Zweden. Opportunity again goes just wide. Rebound to Taylor near side. Try to drop it off down low. Good stick in the lane by Kelly. Tried to clear. That is up into the crowd and out of play as Braden Kelly has just awarded a young fan a 25% off appetizer. And I believe that young fan's actually Jackson Gagnew, head coach Kyle Gagnew's son, who was able to find that puck. Here's Provence here. Lets a shot go wide of the net. Mitchell first to it. Wraps this to the board. Beckwith uses that long reach to be able to collect the puck. Sends a centering attempt out of the zone. Slammed right back in by the Jets with 2:45 to go. Freeze need to get the puck out of their zone into the Metro end. That's turned over. That was deflected off of his skate. Wouldn't have been a kicking motion, but save made by Van Zweden, so he will not have to find out how the official felt about that. Shot, save made, rebound, collected by the Jets. That's Outman from Gretzky's office. Tried to play it around near side. Taylor will have to go back and get it with 2:23 left to go in the third period, allowing the Freeze to change. Fresh Coast need to get some pressure on the Jets in their own end. They trail by 1 as Majeski trying to send Evangelista through. This is dumped on net. Van Zweden is going to hold on with 2 minutes, 9 seconds left to go in a 3-2 hockey game. If the Freeze are able to get the puck into the Jet zone, we will keep you up to date on aware number 30. The netminder is on the ice with 2 minutes, 9 seconds left to go. Got to imagine if the Freeze can get possession in the Jet zone, then Sweden will head to the bench for the extra attacker. Draw one by the Freeze. Zakogny steps in, though, whips it around Sweden as he got just enough of it to rob Zakogny of his third goal. He's going to walk back across, and this time he scores. AJ Zakogny with a great shift there is able to bury it on the second chance. 4-2, Metro on top with 1:56 left to go in the third period as Zakogny finishes off the hat trick to match the number on the back of his jersey, the amount of goals he has in the contest. And Sweden made a good stop on the first chance. On the second chance, though, Zakogny able to lift it up on the backhand over the glove. Liffert's going to bang this one on net. Peacock will tee it up for Fleming. 1:52 to go in the third period. Fresh Coast, they have to get into the offensive zone. You got to imagine their D will start really pressing as Zakogny pokes it away from Sherman, cuts back. Centering attempt through some skates, goes to the far side. Sklombowski leaves it for Sharon. Back to the point. It's Luska. He goes near side. Fleming. Try to play it ahead. Sherman is able to find it. He'll work it up the far side boards. Riley takes a hit, makes the play as he's shoved into the lineswoman. Hopefully she's all right. We're going to get a penalty call against the Jets on that. A roughing call goes to Luska. Opportunity for the Fresh Coast power play to cut this to a one-goal game. Van Zweden receiving instructions from the bench of what they want him to do. They're going to call a timeout with 1:19 left to go in a two-goal game. Freeze have been here before. If you think back to the game against Columbus, they were able to tie that game here before losing in overtime. Those two goals came on the power play with the extra attacker off the ice. For the Freeze, they need to score quickly. See what they draw up off the face-off. As if you can draw up a play off the face-off, get a goal here in. You want to try to score before less than a minute left to go. That's 19 seconds. It's not easy. It's much easier for me in my suit and tie to come up here and talk about, score with, you got to get the score before 45 to go in the period, but it's not an easy task, as it'll be important to win the face-off. I imagine Jake Seski will take the draw of the defenseman, as he does quite a bit for big face-offs. Timeout over. Players back to the Metro end. Face off deep in the Jet zone. Minute 19 to go in regulation. Draw one by the Freeze. Eshelman does a good job batting it out of the air. Shot from the point. Deflected up into the protective netting and out of play by Outman as Lippert let the shot go with a minute 14 to go. And that's the difficulty of playing this Metro team. You do everything right. You get the shot towards goal. They block it out of play. That time draw one by the Jets. Ripped up the wall. Lippert keeps it alive. He lets the shot go. Deflected. Save made by Peacock as he kicks the left pad up. This is played down the ice. Race for it as Outman and Lippert go after it. Lippert ties up Outman along the wall. Lippert, nice job to slide the puck away into some open space with 53 seconds to go in the game. Fournier gets to it. Centering attempt. Here's Partridge. Drops it back to the point. Lippert lets a shot go. Deflected wide. Cook centers. Looking for Kelly. That's just over his stick. Lippert to it. To the wall. Seski turns and fires. Save made by Peacock. I'm not sure he saw that. Whistle blows because it hit him in the mask. And the whistle blew because the net came off. Excuse me. 34 seconds to go in the third period. 4-2 Metro on top. Freeze on the power play. Unless they score, they'll be on the power play for the rest of regulation. Face off deep in the Jet zone. Draw tied up out in front. Backhand shot by Braden Kelly goes just wide. Rebound battled for down low. 29 seconds to go in the game. This is lob down ice. There's no icing on the play. Jets are on the penalty kill. Jackson Stone wins the race anyways. He carries this into the corner. Here's Hartzell. Centering attempt cleared away as Partridge was there on the back check. Partridge first to it. That pass, nice play there by Hartzell as he kicks it away. Provencher to it, finds Hartzell, walks in the zone. One-on-one with Mandeville, fires the shot. Makes the save as time expires. The rebound goes wide. Jake Mandeville, in a losing effort though, makes a double pad stack save. You love to see that out of a player, regardless of the score. He's going to get a lot of high fives from his teammates, but Metro's going to win this one. Their chances at the 1 seed stay alive. They'll be waiting on the Toledo-Columbus game, as I'm sure many people in Mount Clemens will be watching that game with bated breath. 4-2. The Jets win this one. They do their job. They collect the 2 points that they need, but give the Fresh Coast Freeze a lot of credit. They played a lot better than they have in the past against Metro in a 4-2 outing. Charlie Huntoon opened the scoring, his 7th of the year. Carson Riley the assist. Emerson Lippert the secondary assist. A.J. Zakogny scored his 29th of the year from Jake Bloom and Jaden Provencher. A.J. Zakogny scores unassisted to give Metro a 2-1 lead. Brad Cook scores from Partridge and Eggleston to tie it at 2. Jackson Stone would untie it on the power play. A.J. Zakogny would also score his 30th of the year to give the Jets a 4-2 advantage, and that is how the game will end. As a very entertaining contest between the two sides, as the Fresh Coast Freeze for the last time at Griff's Ice House West this season. They salute the crowd after a pretty good effort.
Grayson DeBrine, Melissa Clover, Ryder Field, Jason Field.
Announcing the winners of the silent auction. Freeze still on the ice. Keep it right here. I'm going to keep the stream rolling just to capture some of the festivities to end the year. It's a Fresh Coast team that the players are very close with each other. They hang out a lot in a regular season ending, but they're going to have the opportunity to go to Red River with a chance to play in the playoffs. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I think if you told the Freeze that they would make the playoffs prior to the final game of the year, I think they'd feel pretty good about where they were at. And Red River is not going to be an easy task. They are a very talented team with a lot of team speed. As they are announcing the winners of the silent auctions. Of course, we auctioned off the Fresh Coast uniforms. All the winners will get a chance to take a picture with that player. There's going to be a lot of parents taking pictures with their kiddos, looking over at the sheets. As that'll do it for us here, as we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us all year on Black Bear TV. It's been a very great year with the Fresh Coast Freeze. I mean, thinking back to a year ago last year and just how many opportunities did you get a chance to watch a good game on Black Bear TV, I am forever grateful for some of the games that we've had here at Griff's Ice House West. You know, just kind of like thinking all the way back to it from game one of the weekend, you know, opening weekend, pretty solid contest between the Bearcat Hockey Club and the Freeze. Then you go to the next game, Freeze score with 16 seconds left. Somehow Bearcat able to tie it and lead that game into overtime, which Bearcat ended up winning. But, you know, that game was a spectacular game to watch. A couple of the games with Battle Creek have been incredible action to watch on the ice here at Griff's Ice House West. You know, you go Columbus. The 2-game set we had with them, those games are both really good games, tied at the third period going into the final period of play. The Red River game where they ended up winning 5-4, that was a terrific matchup to watch. I mean, there's been a lot of really fun games this year here at Griff's Ice House West, and hopefully more to come as the Fresh Coast Freeze continue to grow, as this organization continues to get better. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the different things that can be incorporated in this team as they're going to continue to get better, and they're going to continue, I think, to grow as an organization. But until next time, everyone have a great night as you've been watching the MetroJets versus the Fresh Coast Freeze live on Black Bear TV, home of the USPHL, home of everything USPHL junior hockey. Until next time, go Freeze.